if people around you tell you how you should be drinking the spirits that you like, you do have my permission to smack them behind the head.
I have nothing to add to that. Right. I'm so excited about this. Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
So we're actually going to start with our whiskey number 2.
So just to give everybody, because this is going to be a new video.
Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Malt Mariners on the Whiskey Roads. I am here with
Isabelle
at the
Cirka Distilleries
in
Montreal.
Awesome. And now we're going to try the whiskeys because we had a tour, watched that video obviously also, and I'm very curious because this is a distillery that actually do so many different whiskey styles. You do corn, you do rye, and you have
Single malt.
And how would you call? Is it a what do you say a blend?
We also have a blend right now in our core range. Yeah. Yes, it is a blend. So we have a 100% corn, we have a blend, and we have a 100% rye.
Cool.
And you heard right, 100% rye. Not that many out there.
That's also something when I came here, I wanted to learn about Canadian whiskey. And before that, I learned a couple of things, but some things also confused me.
Yes.
So, for example, one thing that might be worth mentioning, because you just said that, is that in Canada, if you say rye whiskey, that does not necessarily mean it's a whiskey that is only made from rye.
That's correct. In Canada, the law is pretty loose about a couple of things. And for rye whiskey in itself, it doesn't need to be 100% rye whiskey to be able to be called a rye whiskey. As long as there's rye in it, in the mash bill, it can be called rye whiskey. So it could be 90% barley with just a hint of rye in it, and it would still be called a rye whiskey.
Okay.
Which is why when we put together our label, we did mention 100% rye.
Cool. So for me as a European whiskey nerd person, I don't know. I usually
aficionados.
I usually
lovers.
Yeah, I just use the word nerd because it just fits perfectly. For me, rye whiskey, I know rye whiskey mainly from the States, as in straight rye, which is basically at least 51%
That's
rye.
correct.
And
That's
then
correct.
they can be wheat or corn in it. They also do some higher ryes, but that's basically my main idea. In Europe, we also have some rye whiskeys, like Storklup in Germany is pretty good. We have Kuro in Finland, and in France they also do some ryes, but they're different approaches. So I'm really curious to see how Canadian rye would compare to that, especially 100% rye. So
100% rye, and you have a portion of in ours which is also a chocolate malted rye, which is very different. Yes.
Interesting.
Surprise.
That's what I really already. I haven't tried anything, but I already love that approach because I always felt like in Scotland or in single malt, I never really understood why not more distilleries try to make a chocolate malt single malt. Then I understood that if you if you make it dark, then it gives you much less yield.
Exactly.
So that's a good reason not to do that. So obviously that's a good.
But once we get to the rye, I'll be able to dive more into that particular aspect of it. But definitely, I mean, it plays a big role.
Yeah.
But you don't need a lot of chocolate malt in there to actually make a difference. You'll see. Ready to rock and roll?
Yes.
All right, let's start. So we will start actually with a 100% corn whiskey.
Cool.
I know a lot of people out there go, corn whiskey, it's usually not that very interesting. It's not, is it really a Canadian? I mean, especially here in Quebec, we are very big on corn. I mean, it is an indigenous grain here, cereal. So hence, which is why we also decided to use it both for our base and for our whiskeys as well, for some of our whiskeys. So the particular aspect for this whiskey, it is 100% local grain, local corn, but triple cask.
Okay.
So we start off with our new barrels. Then we get to transfer it into our own rye barrels for 9 months, and we finish it off in Sauterne barrels for 2.
Okay, interesting.
So you keep that lovely sweetness of the corn, and you just add a layer to it.
Before I nose this and say something about it, just let's try to give a very brief introduction to corn whiskey, because I think for me as a single malt enthusiast, that was probably the whiskey category that I knew the least about when I sort of started. And I like bourbon, I like rye, I like also American whiskeys. So I'm pretty, I would say, like, how do you say that nicely?
A novice? Newbie?
Promiscuous for whiskey. So I drink all types of whiskey.
Yes.
So I'm not a single malt Scotch. I like single malt Scotch, but I drink everything in terms of whiskey. So,
I agree.
For everybody out there who might be still a little bit more focused on single malt, how would we explain corn whiskey to them? Because corn whiskey, when I hear corn whiskey, most people probably think, oh, that's bourbon, right? So
I know,
there's a difference
know.
between corn whiskey and bourbon. So where would be the difference?
The corn aspect of it is obviously is the base of it, because bourbon is minimally 51% corn.
Yes.
For the appellation, but it can be 100% as well. It's just that on the bourbon part, they need to be only new oak, new wood, that's it. On the corn part, I mean, there's not that many 100% corn whiskeys out there as well. I mean, people have a tendency to usually go for barley because they're going for the single malt. That's all they can think about. But the beauty of whiskey is in the grain.
Yes.
If you choose local grains, you can have so much fun. There's many different corns as well out there.
Oh yeah.
So hence the flavor profile will differ depending on which corn, which base you're using, which yeast you're using, the method that you're distilling. So corn whiskey itself is, I guess, the underdog of whiskeys, because people associate it with bourbon only.
Sounds.
But you can have lots of fun with it, and as well during maturation process of which wood you're using. Is it used? Is it new? The type of yeast that you're going to be using. All this will have an impact as well. So ours, and the funny thing is, our yeast that we're using is a tequila yeast.
Okay. Interesting.
Surprise.
Okay, nice.
So you're going to have a nice flinty note as well, which is where it comes from.
Oh, yes.
But you're going to have...
Flinty makes a lot of sense.
You're going to have nice caramelized banana notes. You're going to have a bit of pear, honeydew, and this one is actually at 48% alcohol.
Oh, that is so good. That smells so good. I'm 100%. I'm about 100% on board with this. The funny thing is, before my brain circles back to the corn whiskey category. When I visit a distillery, it's like that I have not tried any of the whiskeys before, that's what I really like to do on camera, to sort of 100% no idea. I did not know what this whiskey would all be about. Could also be a whiskey that I totally don't like, which is fine because taste is different. You know, it will happen at a certain point.
It's subjective to everyone. Yes, so I've had people go like, ugh, I'm not into corn whiskeys, which is fine.
No, it's already like. But that's like I said, I'm sort of also the bourbon category, the American whiskey category does not really frighten me, so I'm more than happy to try new things. But that's exactly the thing. My inner library is filled with American whiskeys. So Canadian whiskey is pretty new to me. So I'm really trying to fill that gap and to expand my horizon in that regards, and that's why I'm really curious, really excited about these guys, because I've tried a couple of single malts from Canada so far, but I haven't tried any of these whiskeys because you guys would probably be the crafty part of the more traditional Canadian whiskey style. Could I say that?
Yes, you could call it that. Absolutely.
Okay. Very interesting. Because in America, corn, even if you would make a whiskey that is basically exactly like bourbon, you would not be calling it bourbon because bourbon has to be made in America, in the States. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. It smells so good. Yeah, there's like a lot of dust, like how you call it, corn dust. You
have a bit of corn dust. You have citrusy notes as well, a bit of floral, and And that's the beauty of whiskeys. I mean, it's all in the grain and the yeast, where it's actually matured. So, cheers.
Yummy. That's very nice.
And this one's at 48%. So yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
Jeez, that's a lot
We
to finish.
decide on the alcohol content of our whiskeys because we do try them out at different ABVs, and once the whole team centers on one specific one, that's usually the one that we go for.
I love this. My head just explodes in terms of, that's what I love about whiskey, and I'm very like OCD German in terms of, I try to put things into categories to understand them.
Yes.
And I'm having a really hard time putting this anywhere, because it's probably the closest to crafty bourbon, but it's not a bourbon. And I've tried the Balcones different corn whiskies.
Yes.
I really like those. And maybe that's steering in that direction a little bit. So I can see that it's a corn whiskey. But I think you mentioned Sauternes casks for
Yes.
a finish.
Absolutely.
That gives it almost like a single malty twist in the end. There's a lot of oily and thick.
There's an added layer
Yes.
to it. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, big fan. This is great. But this is like, I was a big fan. Like I did, people that will watch this video have already had the chance to see a tour through Macaloni's and Shelter Point, which is both single malt distilleries, both making basically single malt whiskey in Canada, like Scotch style whiskey,
Yes.
which is great. All good brands. I quite like them. But I think for me also it's very, and Sons of Vancouver was really interesting because they do rye in a nerdy and crafty kind of way. And this is like a further step in the direction that I was sort of looking for to understand about Canadian whiskey, because it's such a diverse category.
It
you
is.
guys are crazy diverse. You have like almost everything in whiskey you do, but it's like usually Japan, Sweden, like Scandinavia is an interesting category, but
Yes.
the most countries do Scottish style whiskey. There's rarely any whiskey country that has created a completely new style of whiskey. Do you know what I mean? Like in Germany we have Stork whiskey, for example. They do like American style rye, I would say. They give it a twist because they also have sherry casks.
Yes.
But still,
I've tried it.
It's it's a quite nice whiskey. I quite like it.
Because I was at the Berlin
Yeah.
Spirit Show and I got to try it.
Yeah, but this is like, for
It's
me,
true
very
that, I
interesting.
mean, a lot of places they tend to go for one style only, and in Canada we like to push the envelope, and I have to admit here,
God, this is so good.
Paul Cirka
Fruity.
has this vision of, yes, we're making whiskeys, but we're making great whiskeys, and we want to push the envelope, not
Yes.
just to be in a specific style, but use local grains and then just push it a little bit beyond that nice little neat box, outside of the box.
Okay, so now that I've tried the whiskey and you have me 100% on board, where can people actually buy your whiskey outside of Montreal? And maybe outside of Canada? Are you actually exporting your whiskey at this point?
We were exporting at one point to the United States. Unfortunately, with COVID, that imploded a little bit. But we do have a couple of places actually in Germany and France.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Small little importers as well.
Yes.
So in Germany, it's Melodies Canada that imported our stuff, and we had Arvida in France as well that imported our whiskeys.
Cool.
The rest we're shipping a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but depending on where. But yes, for the whiskeys, it's pretty much these.
Germany, there you go. Awesome. So get your hands on one of them. I mean, I haven't tried all of them, but certainly the corn whiskey already is really good. So that's good.
Want to try the next one?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. So this one
It's so tasty.
is actually our blend.
Nice.
So it is whiskey number 4. Here you go.
Thank you. Just have to show these little glasses. Love the logo. Would you actually try to? Yes. Oh.
So right now,
Yes.
we are tasting whiskey number 4.
Cool.
So whiskey number 4 is actually our blend. Hopefully I did pour it in the right order, right? Okay, so this is 42% alcohol.
Rye sounds.
So this is 43% alcohol, and it is 5% of our rye whiskey with 95% of our corn whiskey. But, like I said, we like to twist things around. So the corn aspect of it is actually put into Sauterne barrels, but for 15 months before we do the blend. So you're going to have the caramelized banana notes as well that you had on the first one, but you're going to have the spicy notes that are coming from the rye whiskey.
Yeah, very.
And at 42%, you could say it is the perfect whiskey to initiate someone to whiskeys.
Yes. It's very smooth. It's very sippy. Very easy to drink. I like the corn a little bit more. It's just more sort of like.
I mean, it's more dense, punchier at 48% as well. But I mean, for this one, our approach behind it was to do a blend, but that would be fun for people who are very new to the whiskey world, but still have enough character that people who enjoy whiskeys already can find what they need. And this is my sipping whiskey for the week.
Yeah, sippy. It's very sippy.
It's very much like guilt-free whiskey for the week.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. I like it. I was supposed to ask you stuff, but I'm just sitting here enjoying myself a little bit too much.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
If you would be, and obviously you can also pass on that question, because before I came here, I asked people, what do you guys want to know from Canadian distillers? What would interest you? And somebody asked me if they could have the chance to change anything in the regulations in Canadian whiskey. Is there anything that you would like to be changed, or if you would have the chance to change anything, is there anything you can think of?
Good question. I mean, for me, it's mostly yes. If you want to be called a rye whiskey, you need 51%. For me, it's like the minimum aspect of it to be able to be called like a specific type of whiskey.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not much into legislation, so I mean, I wouldn't move the 3-year minimum. That's for sure. And the funny thing is, we actually are the ones who introduced it.
Yes.
Scotland
really.
took it afterwards, but we are the ones that introduced the minimal 3 years, which a lot of people didn't know.
No, absolutely. I was quite surprised. Yes, when I read it in the book, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Canada actually is the country that gave the world a minimum age period.
The minimum age period, yes,
Great.
exactly.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so basically, let's sum it up.
Yes.
What I have learned so far about the regulations. So in Canada, the whiskey has to be matured for 3 years minimum, like in Scotland and Europe, because some countries do that differently. There are countries in the world where the whiskey has not been matured at all, or maybe 2 years. So you can use any type of oak barrel, but you cannot use non-oak barrels. Is that correct?
It's probably true, but yes, it is oak barrels that is required.
Okay.
I mean, you can use any types of barrel for finishing as well, but I mean, at the base of it, it is usually oak.
Yes.
But if it's really in the law itself, I have to admit, I do not know.
Okay. So far, that's what, like...
But the requirement is barrel aged.
Yes.
I don't think necessarily oak barrels, because I mean, we have different oak and wood essences than oak. But it is the mention by law, it is in a barrel.
Okay, I gotta find that out.
I'm curious as well. I'm probably going to look it up as well.
Cool. Okay. Fermented mash. You can use enzymes though, right? So you don't have to necessarily use, because I think in Europe we are by law. I think we have to use natural enzymes from malted barley.
That's correct.
And I think you guys can add enzymes of any kind to get the mash going.
that's the difference between, especially Scotland and us here.
Yeah.
We're allowed to use enzymes, so we're
Yes.
allowed to use alpha and beta to really help us out for conversion, and yes, we are allowed. So a lot of people, a lot of times that's what we use as well. Small dosage, but it helps to get better yields as well. But yes,
Yes.
we are allowed.
Okay. And one last thing that I've also learned, and that seems to be very distracting and confusing for a lot of whiskey nerds, is that the fact that in Canada you can add 1/11 of the volume.
The blessed 9, yes.
And like it's 9.9% or something.
It's 9 point,
You
yes.
can add another spirit to
Yes.
whiskey. So a couple of days ago with my friends in Ottawa, I tried a whiskey, Bareface. That was a grain whiskey, but there was added some tequila or mezcal type of spirit, which was actually quite nice whiskey, but it tasted a bit more like mezcal. So what's your thought on that? Or
The
how-
blessed 9?
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how you use it, actually. Me personally, I'm more a traditional type of girl, you could say. I like more to add stuff with the finish.
Yeah.
But depending on how you use it, I mean, you don't need to go all the way up to 9%. If between finishing and adding a couple of liters of a certain spirit to just get that little high note that you're
Yes.
needing,
Yes.
I am all for it.
Yeah.
I am all for it. I mean, would I push it all the way to 9%? Probably not, because then you lose that initial impact of your own whiskey.
Yes.
But would I use that as far as just to complexify my whiskey a little bit more by adding just a touch compared to what it would cost me or how much trouble it would be to get a specific barrel?
Yeah.
I would probably use it. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And for me, I used to be like a very a traditional single malt, pure type of person. And now that I think of it, and now that I travel a bit more and try different stuff, I have to say this actually makes a lot of sense to me, because before I was like, oh, they're putting stuff in the whiskey that,
I know.
But if you think about it, and if you actually know how cask maturation work, and if you look at ex-port cask, ex-sherry cask,
Yes.
where sometimes the staves can, the wood can soak up. I
So
think
much.
it's I think I read a number, maybe correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I think it's like 20 to 30 liters of liquid that can actually be in the staves.
Yes.
So nobody knows if there's like a little pond of things sitting in the barrel. So to be honest, if you would be such a traditionalist and say, I don't want to have anything in my whiskey, then I think you should also be looking at PX sherry cask finished or sherry cask finished whiskeys, because and that's why I think I'm sort of moving away a little bit from this idea of, oh, you could never do that, because I think
It's all about balance.
Yeah,
And that's just
exactly.
it. It's all
Yes.
about balance,
And
not
taste,
about
yeah.
crossing that line where you're going, oh, I'm not tasting the whiskey anymore, I'm just tasting the tequila, the mezcal, and it's not adding. When it's too much, that says it
Totally,
all.
totally agree with that.
But it's also, it's just a work of balance. I mean, it's also, and it adds to the playground.
Yes.
It adds so much potential and possibilities, because
Yeah.
you have to admit, it is sometimes hard to get those barrels.
Yeah, of course.
So if that barrel is too hard to get, but you can get your hands on a couple of bottles and that's all you need for your proofing, because you
Yeah.
only want to add just a hint, why not play with it?
I think it's really interesting because we were sort of like in this dimension of traditional methods, and that also
Purist
gave
and-
whiskey its high reputation, its good reputation. Scotch
Yes.
being very protective of their origin, being very protective of the regulation and what you can actually do with whiskey, which also narrows down a couple of things for Scotland.
It does, it does. I
In
mean,
Europe,
it-
we're a bit more a bit more flexible.
And
We-
here in Canada, we just open everything
so
up.
I kind of appreciate these different approaches to whiskey, and that's why I like to travel and share the different stories and the different versions of whiskey making. But I also feel like, I wouldn't say I'm getting bored of Scotch whiskey, but at a certain point I feel like it's nice to have something different. It's nice to have a different influence. It's nice to have a different approach of making whiskey.
Yes, because we're not necessarily constrained to too much as well.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of producers as well appreciate that because we do have, okay, granted, more loose laws concerning, it's not as rigid as Europe, but it allows us actually more opportunities to test things out. Not necessarily put it on the market, but we can actually test it out to see if it actually works or if it. Because the bottom line is it making your whiskey better?
Yes.
It's all about the
Agreed.
liquid. It's all about the liquid. If it's making the whiskey taste better, feel better, why not?
So, but to finish off that theme, your whiskey is 100% whiskey, right?
Yes, it is.
There's nothing else in there. Good. So
No, it's all
we got
about
that
finishing.
one. Now let's go to the rye, and I need some water.
Yes. On to the next.
Oh yeah, rye whiskey. Cool.
I have to admit, this is my favorite child.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to have a favorite child.
Of course, yes.
I do. This is 100% rye whiskey. This is an actual rye whiskey. And as we mentioned before, not that many 100% ryes out there. This one, a couple of things that are particular as well. It is 93% unmalted rye and a 7% of what we call a chocolate malted rye. So the malt is so dark it actually looks like coffee beans, and it will give you those nice notes. You will have chocolate, coffee, Corinthian raisin, date figs, and the really fun part is we actually finish it in a 30-year-old sherry Oloroso barrel.
I was just gonna say this smells pretty much like a sherry cask, also, but there's a lot of espresso in there. I love that. That's great. Yeah.
Tobacco notes were more on the pipe and not the cigar, but you're going to have also a hint of the hazelnut in there, and
oh yes,
it is.
Totally. Thank you for that.
It is my whiskey for the weekend, for autumn and winter months when you want that nice, what my brand ambassador calls the Canadian hug.
Yeah.
That's the one that I use. Or when I'm really having a really bad day, that's the one that I use.
Yeah, this is like there's a lot of nuts, a lot of nutty notes. Hazelnut is spot on. A little bit, maybe just a hint of licorice, like this sort of dark, salty, sweet kind of flavor.
This one's at 46% alcohol. And I've had people ask me why the different ABVs. Well, we try as much as possible to find the ABV where the whiskey is actually going to shine.
Yeah.
So we've tried it at 45, 46, 47, 48, all the way up to 50 for all the whiskeys. And when everyone's in accordance to that's the one, because we're all different palates in the company, we usually feel that's the one that's going to represent us. So
that's always the thing, because to be honest, I'm personally not a huge fan of cask strength whiskeys. Generally speaking, single malts. With bourbon and rye, tend to be a little bit different. High proof, nice. But I'm usually more in the drinking strength area, somewhere between 43 and 50-ish. So that's my personal, my favorite kind of.
Which is why when you ask the question, like low or high,
it's just personal, but
it's personal, but it's for me it's in the middle, but it also depends as well on the distillation part, because I've had, I mean, you're going to taste it. I mean, we have a high strength whiskey as well, but because we have a column actually for our whiskey distillation, I mean, I can maintain that at 80% alcohol throughout.
Yes.
It's not, I'm going to get what I'm going to get. I have a very purified heart, but that still has character, and that's the fun part of it.
I get a lot of fermented blueberries, actually. That's really interesting. No, that's the thing where what I was sort of hinting at or getting at in terms of, I mean, yes, you answered that question in regards of my personal opinion also, but still, what I keep telling people in tastings is the whiskey that is in the bottle is usually at a strength that the distiller thinks you should be drinking it. So most people actually put some thought into their strength.
True, but
So
there is also
yes.
your own taste. As a distiller, basically my main thing is for you to drink it.
Get out of here.
Okay, bye.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that is so tasty. Sorry.
No,
Yes.
no, but it's true.
I was
I love
distracted by
that
your
reaction.
extremely
As a
tasty
producer, for
whiskey.
me, that's what we want to see.
Oh, God.
Because when we do whiskeys, we want the whiskeys to be enjoyed. We want the whiskeys to be shared, not to become a collectible on a shelf
And
somewhere.
it's so different also.
Hint?
Like nutty notes, and there's like, yeah, the licorice. I can't get off hazelnut and licorice. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yes.
the date fig aspect of it in the back, it's quite rich. And
Crazy.
for all our whiskeys, all of them,
Very interesting.
we do not use any caramel.
Nice.
1.
Appreciate it.
2, we don't chill filter. So everything's in the liquid, which my bottling line doesn't like because the filtration goes, I am done at the end. That's fine. But 3, the water that we use for proofing is a local spring water that's high in calcium content. Calcium is your best friend for whiskeys. It helps to tone down that burning sensation that people usually associate with whiskeys.
I cannot put this anywhere. This is, for me, a very, very unique flavor. I might add that there might be some people that don't like the specific niche that it's in, because it's very special.
You mean the rye?
Yeah, the rye. The rye feels to me like it's a very niche sort of whiskey. Because
It is.
like this nutty note, like that's also funny. In food, I don't like hazelnut. I like it. I like the taste and the profile in whiskey.
Yes.
But in whiskey, I like a lot of taste flavors that I don't like. Like raisins.
I agree.
I hate raisins. You could like hunt me with
But
raisins.
in a whiskey-
In a whiskey, nice.
It works.
It's okay. Yeah.
It works.
So, but you wanted to say something about the strength in
But the,
personal taste.
It
Yes.
is. I mean, it's a strength. It's a personal taste. Everyone, as long as you buy it, what you do at home with it, add
Right.
water or not, it's all to your preferences.
Of
And
course.
for me,
Yes, totally.
I mean, I prefer it neat. I have friends who prefer it on ice. Some people prefer it in a cocktail. As long as you drink it the way you want it, that's essentially, that's what it is. There's no one way of drinking a whiskey. There's your way.
Yes.
And that's what you should respect. You shouldn't, if people around you tell you how you should be drinking the spirits that you like, you do have my permission to smack them behind the head. Because it is your own personal choice, and it's the boundary for me that you need to respect.
I have nothing to add to that. You have the license, Isabelle's license.
Of approval to
Yes.
smack. Yes.
I totally agree. I mean, that's exactly the thing. Like, personal taste, do whatever you like. That's it.
That's it.
I have to say, since you mentioned you're not a fan of whiskey cocktails, but I could see that makes a killer old-fashioned or Sazerac, because
It does.
there's so much nice flavors in there
It
that
does.
could really add up to being a really nice whiskey drink. Also.
It is for an old fashioned, absolutely. I mean, it is one of the cocktails that we do when we're having parties and.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm here.
Thank you.
That is really quite a special and quite a unique
It
type
is
of whiskey.
quite a unique
Yeah,
type of
it
whiskey.
is.
A lot of people usually
So this is my corn.
when I tell them rye, they go, "Oh, usually rye is grassy and whatnot." Well, it depends on the distillers and if they use barrels. Used barrels will bring out those grassy notes. New barrels have a tendency to concentrate just the original new make.
The corn is super fruity right now. Yeah, it's really hard for me to sort of like. I could not pick a favorite child in this one. I got to say that the blend is sort of falling behind for me personally, a little bit behind the other guys, because I really like the corn. I really like the rye. The corn for me is the most approachable from my personal taste.
Yes.
If everybody taste would be like mine, I would say the corn is the perfect balance between super interesting, super sippy, and super tasty. But the rye is like so special that it's really hard
It
to
is
compare.
special.
Yeah.
Not
Awesome.
that many 100%, and especially with chocolate malted rye, not that much out there
Yes.
as well. It is a grain that a lot of people don't work with, because as you've mentioned before, especially in the single malts,
Yeah.
the malted aspect of it, yes, does kill off any enzyme that you have in the grain. So essentially that malt becomes the flavoring part of your whiskey. I mean, you don't need to use a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is only 7% of the total mash bill is that particular grain, and this is what you get at the end. So you can imagine that it is a costly endeavor, yes, because I mean, it costs more to add that malt in there, or that malted rye. But for the flavor profile that we were looking for, and it's so funny because when we first started the whiskey, we started out with rye.
Honey is good wine. Yeah.
Which is the grain that
yeah.
people usually try to avoid because it's
Yeah.
a very hard grain to work
yeah.
with. And because it was the first whiskey that we tried, essentially we were tasting it out of the barrel every month to see the progression.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, the first year I was panicking because those chocolate notes, they were toning down the first year. So I didn't want to lose those. And I was like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Luckily enough, on the 13th month, they started peaking up again.
Okay.
So those barrels are lovely black boxes. You never know once you put it in, when you're going to get it out. But the fun part of distilling is you have to taste it.
Yeah. There's some herb in there that I can't really pinpoint, but I'm not sure. Is it oregano? There's some sort of behind all that sweetness and this chocolate note. I feel like there's like a Italian herb, but I'm not really good with herbs. Thyme? No.
Sage?
Okay, so this is basically the part where people are watching can unfortunately not purchase the whiskey anymore.
Unfortunately, because this
has been
is
sold out.
totally sold out, unfortunately. But there is something else that's coming.
Cool.
So the first one you're trying is actually, it is a cask strength.
Okay.
We've been lucky enough to have a pub here in Montreal. It's called the Burgundy Lion. They have an amazing selection of whiskeys. And since the beginning, they've been asking us every single year if they could buy a cask for bottling for their own pub.
Yeah.
We weren't ready yet,
Okay.
but last autumn, Paul said yes. So we gave them 3 different samples. They chose their cask.
Yes.
And he had a specific request, which was cask strength.
Okay.
So we actually bottled it at 60.4% alcohol.
Yeah.
So this is a 100% single malt, and it is the first 8-year-old single malt of Quebec. And this is the one that won a silver award actually for the International Wine and Spirit competition in London.
I feel honored.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I walked past it yesterday when I was looking for a chance to catch the Scotland versus Brazil match, which unfortunately Scotland lost, but still. Yeah, that's so different from the other ones. Like,
And this one does have different malts in it as well.
but it's
Slate.
all malt.
It's all malt.
Yeah.
All malt. The beauty aspect actually of this one, and it's the same mash bill for this one, is a big part of it, almost more than 50% of it, is a floor malt that was done here, close to Montreal. It was the first floor malter actually, and he did traditional style, of course. And the funny thing is, when we learned about his floor malt, we drove there, we tried his malt, the grain, and then yes, at 8 o'clock in the morning, we did try his beer, which was made with his malt.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided, as soon as we tasted the beer, we went, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
So we decided to switch our recipe around to include that one in a huge majority of it.
Very interesting. Once again, I cannot put this anywhere. This is like, to me, yeah, but I also, still in this one, I get like this, I think this Italian herb that I had before, I can also still smell this here. which might be the distillation.
Probably part of the distillation
it's
process
like,
or the type of
yeah.
yeast that we're using.
Also
I mean, it
yeast
is from
a
the
big thing,
same house.
Yeah, yeast is a big thing.
Yes, it is.
Still to discover a lot of things about yeast.
Absolutely. It's the beauty of yeast. Esters, you have to love them.
That's great. Like,
and even though it's higher than the 50%, where that's
Yeah.
your range, maximum range that you usually like for 60%, a lot of people go, it is so smooth. For 60%, they're agreeably surprised.
I really don't know where to put this. I mean, in this regards, it's just so
You're
far
puzzled.
off.
You're puzzled by it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really puzzled.
Because it doesn't. It's
so
not.
far away.
It's not
Yes.
into a specific box. And
Yes,
I know you
exactly.
like to
Yes.
put whiskeys in a specific
Totally.
box or
Yeah.
specific grain.
That's just my OCD. But it's just
and
like,
because it is a single malt, but it's so far
Yes.
from what the regular Scotch drinkers are used to.
But I love the fact that there's a red line. You can there's a string. You can see that it's part of the others.
It is.
Funnily enough.
It is. It is
There-
part
yes.
of the Circa family.
Yeah, absolutely. You can taste and
we do
and
have
feel.
a signature. We do have a signature, and it's both in the cask where we actually, because we probably age everything on site, and we do have very dry winters, so a lot of
It's
a lot
great.
of
It's
play
actually-
with the wood.
It's growing on me. It's very nice. It's funny because on the nose, I maybe would have not thought that that's a single malt, because there is some very like intense, fruity and sweet and vanilla-ish type of like bourbon direction, but not like a bourbon. But it's a bit like, that's why I mentioned American single malt. Some of the American single malts tend to have this twist, virgin oak, very intense.
Yes.
Cool.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very nice.
On to the little brother.
Yes, please.
So on to the little brother then. So Ephemeral is actually a very limited cask release. We did 285 bottles for this.
Okay.
So why I say the little brother, here you go. It is the same mash bill, but we did a little something different for this little guy, is we actually caramelized the mash. So while we were mashing, yes, we actually slowed down the rake so that it would actually caramelize inside the mash tun, which is not something I will personally redo.
Yes.
It is a lot of work after that to clean, so don't recommend it. But we did do an actual caramelized version, basically, of the mash bill.
Okay.
And then after that, put in the barrel. So that specific recipe, we did just the one barrel. That's it. That's all we did. And this one's at 43%, not cask strength.
That is that's incredible.
Now, the twist part as well,
Okay.
because of course we don't do just one twist.
Okay.
We did a second one, which is we actually had a liqueur before that we no longer
Yes.
do, but it was a rye-based maple coffee liqueur. Now, it's not coffee beans that we put in there. So we literally took the rye new make,
Yeah.
macerated cascara in it, which is a
Okay.
byproduct of coffee. It's
Yes.
the skin that gets.
Cascara. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
that.
so
Interesting.
we actually basically macerated the cascara in the whiskey, put that in a liqueur, which we would put maple syrup in there. Now, we decided as well to see what would happen if we put that base that had the cascara in
Yeah.
a barrel. So that barrel was basically, you could say, seasoned for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
We took the liquid out, put that single malt in for about 6 weeks.
So basically, the barrel is a cascara macerated spirit beforehand, and then you put your
And then,
okay, because-
just for a finishing touch, so the notes that you had a little bit in there in the rye, you might get, but just slight, it's just to add that
It's
extra
so
flavor.
crazy. When I smelled this, I thought like immediately, I do not believe this is not flavored. Because it's so intense. There's like flavors in there that are very far off a classic single malt.
And that's the part that I like about finishing.
Yes.
That's the finishing part that you can play with and really have fun, and then just add some other notes that are not conventional.
That is so weird, like in a good way. There's like grapefruit candy-ish type of flavors on the nose. The cascara makes a lot of sense because like it's
fermented.
It's a cherry, it's fermented, so it's like also giving this crazy fruit. Like I'm a big nerd in like coffee. I visit all these roasteries also and buy coffee, and we sometimes buy some cascara, which is like a fruit.
You know cascara, because a lot of people don't know cascara what it is.
It tastes a little bit like a fruity in Germany, but it gives you very high caffeine kicks, so it's great stuff. If you don't, for some strange reason, don't want to drink coffee, you can drink cascara.
Yes, because the amount of cascara that you would need to actually get a fraction of the caffeine is quite a lot.
So basically, this is a cascara kind type of whiskey. I love it so much.
But it's only in the finish, basically, because it's only in the finish that we actually use that.
That's very tasty. I'm really fanboying out here. This is I'm becoming a really big fan of your distillery. This is great. This is all really.
And we have another
crazy progressive.
And we have another Ephemeral
Nice.
#2 that's coming actually this year.
So hint for everybody who might want to be interested.
Get on our newsletter.
Newsletter, Cirka Distillery.
Yes, because we actually
go there. Now, pause the video, go there, newsletter, then come back.
we give first dibs to the people actually who are on our newsletter if they want to buy it. So hence for people of Europe and the States, I have to admit, I mean, it is costly to ship, and even in the US we cannot, but we will hold the bottle for you. I've had people who bought online and then they knew they were coming to Montreal within the next year or two. We held the bottle on site. Once they are in, they get the bottle. So the next one that's coming actually is a 4-grain, 15 different malt type of whiskey.
Nice.
And we are now looking at the finishing barrel.
Cool.
Hopefully it'll be Calvados.
Okay, interesting, nice. Yeah, I mean the French do crazy good spirits. I mean, I love Armagnac, not so much Cognac, but Calvados is also great.
Calvados, Armagnac, yes.
So this is like roughly like noon. So I will be going to lunch very, very drunk because I really would like to finish all of these. They're super tasty. So I can just, basically before my brain will go in a mode that is not appropriate to be on camera, I would like to thank you so much for having me here, showing me around,
Thank you for coming.
sharing your crazy and super tasty whiskeys with me. Like I said, I'm going in blind to most distilleries. I mean, I know a little bit about the distilleries, but I usually haven't tried the stuff. I'm totally hooked. Like, this is so cool and so diverse and so crazy tasty what you guys are doing here. I will definitely watch out when I'm back in Europe, and I'll see if I can actually get some of yours, because I'm actually doing a Canadian whiskey tasting with a friend of mine who's owning a wine shop near Hamburg, and they want to do a Canadian whiskey tasting. So we don't really get that many Canadian whiskeys in Germany. So I'll definitely try to get one of your bottles for this tasting, because this is
excellent. So good.
Nom nom nom. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much.
That
was great. That was amazing. I really hope that you guys out there had almost as much fun as I did.
And if not, well,
yes,
come in for a tasting.
Exactly. You got to come here and check it out for yourself. If not, maybe get your hands on a bottle. And yeah, that's me basically passing out on this, not passing out, hopefully, but zooming out. So good. Yes, okay. See you guys next time down the road.
Yes, so enjoy the whiskeys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.